And you're okay with being on YouTube? Okay, great. And you're Timmy, right? Timmy. And that's Larry.
Larry.
Nice to meet you. Hey, we're just...
Nice to meet you.
There's Ray. Hey, Ray. What are you watching?
Hey, buddy. Gotta get the man, the myth, the legend.
You're looking good, Ray. I like your shirt. There's Lorraine. All right.
Lorraine Timmy.
I'm sorry. Who's this?
His name's Ray.
Ray. I remember Ray. I photographed you, Ray. Do you remember? Years ago. And your name is?
Lorraine.
Lorraine. And Timmy.
Yeah. Porch.
What's your favorite memory, Ray? Do you remember anything about your life?
Hey.
Lorraine, what can you remember of your family? All right. Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kahak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. We're going to title this video, Hey Esau, This Is You, the Whitaker family, cave people. Okay. Now, what you just watched was a couple clips about this family. They're called the Whitaker family. All right. And as you can see, they're Edomites. Okay. There's some, I guess there's some inbred Edomites. Okay. So you know what inbred means, incest. All right. And this is Esau's natural habitat. And in the kingdom of heaven, this is the state that Esau is going to go back to. He's going to go back to the state of a babbling fool, right? A complete degenerate, right? You see, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has cleaned this devil up, right? And you Caucasians, okay, are now somewhat in your right mind, all right, to where you can get your demonic ass on that camera and pose as if you're the highest state of evolution of human beings. But when you go into the history, which is what we're going to do, when you go into the history, all right, and you go back to the Dark Ages, all right, shortly after the Roman Empire fell, all right, because the Roman Empire was dominated by the Edomites. Okay, the Edomites controlled the Roman Empire. All right, but shortly after the Roman Empire fell, all right, the Dark Ages came about, where you had our people ruling in Europe, England, right, and all of those places. You know what I'm saying? And during that time, Esau was pushed off into the caves. Okay, Esau's whole entire race was pushed off into the caves, and this is what they became. All right, they became what we see today, the Whitaker family. All right, now imagine a whole race of people in the caves running around like this, looking like this, right? And when you watch the videos I put up, you know, these motherfuckers could barely talk. You know, they look all disfigured. This is Esau's natural state. Okay. And in the kingdom of heaven, this is what he's going back into. We're going to put him back in the caves. All right. And he's going to become this degenerate moron that we see right here. Okay. Now, let's get a scripture. Okay. Let's get a scripture. This is Job 18:18. It says, he shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. Right. And Esau, after the Roman Empire fell, Esau and his people were chased off into the Caucasus Mountains. Okay. They were chased off into the mountains. All right. And that's where they would reside. Okay. And they created a civilization up there. All right. So Esau is the original caveman. And this is history that Esau does not want the public to know. You see, because these devils, they prop themselves up, right? Trying to make it seem like they have the highest intelligence, right? Like they, you know, they're so above everybody. Everybody needs to listen to them. They've discovered the secret, like them demons at the World Economic Forum, right? Most of them motherfuckers is Edomites. Donald Trump, Edomite. Pete Hegseth, Edomite. And you see how they talk. They talk as if, oh, Noah Harari, Klaus Schwab, Edomite. These motherfuckers talk as if, you know, they just have all the answers, right? But then when you look at a lot of the policies that Esau is trying to bring about, and you look at the, you know, the way that Esau has shaped the world under his rulership, it's all caveman shit. It's all low-level degenerate nonsense. All right. This is why, you know, the world we live in makes no sense. OK, because we have a bunch of cave people, right, that are calling the shots right now. And this is biblical prophecy. All right. Let me get that. OK. All right. Because this is biblical prophecy that Esau would return, right, from his caveman state, and he would rule the world for a little season. All right. And that little season is now. OK. All right. So this is all prophecy. This is Revelation 20 and verse 1. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. The bottomless pit represents Europe. Okay, that's where these devils were enslaved at. All right, and ultimately they were enslaved in their mind because the Lord turned them into cave people. Right, just like when the Lord made Nebuchadnezzar to become a beast, the Lord turned him into, you know, like a beast man. Well, Esau and his entire race of people, they became beasts, right? So the Lord put them in captivity in their mind, okay? The Lord stripped all level of understanding from the Edomite nation, okay? And they turned out and they were in the caves wiggling around, all right, looking like this, tripping, you know what I'm saying? Bugged out, all right? And yeah, it's disturbing to look at, you know, these type of motherfuckers right here, these type of Edomites. It's disturbing to look at. They look crazy, don't they? Well, this is Esau's natural state. And in the kingdom of heaven, this is what he's going back to. OK, let's go back. It's verse 2. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon. Who is the dragon? OK, the dragon represents the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was controlled by the Edomites. That old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. This is why we call the Edomites the devil and Satan. This is why we call Esau the devil, man. The scriptures call him the devil. Okay. It says, and bound him 1,000 years. Right. What does it mean to bound when it says the scriptures bound the dragon 1,000 years, meaning that Esau was in a caveman state for 1,000 years, man. Okay. And then he got released out of that caveman state, I believe, like in the 1400s, right? Maybe the late 1300s or the 1400s or something like that, right? Right before the Renaissance period. The Renaissance period, well, Renaissance means rebirth, right? And the reason why, Esau called it the Renaissance, rebirth, is because it was the rebirth of his rulership, right? He came out of the caves. He was a caveman, right? Then he came out. Then, Jake, that was ruling at the time in England and Europe, Jake got hit with the bubonic plague, the Black Death, right? And that knocked out a large majority of our people. So Esau was able to come up, and he was able to come up on top. This is why you see them devils out there in England, right? Our people ruled England, man. All right. The so-called black people ruled England, man. Israelites. But what do you see out there? You see out there in England, and Esau is, the Queen Elizabeth, that demonic bitch, right? But Esau is out there in England as if he's always been there. No, he hijacked that after our people, died from the bubonic plague. So he stepped in that stead. Okay, after that 1,000 years. But for that 1,000 years, Esau was a caveman. All right. Verse 3, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him. Yeah, that seal was the pretty much the Lord pretty much took away his understanding. The Lord sealed him up. Right. And it tells you right here, it says that he should deceive the nations no more. You see that? Because when Esau, when he had authority, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, what did Esau do? He deceived everybody. He introduced idol worship, right, and all manners of wickedness. Okay, when you read the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, and it talks about the Seleucid Empire, right, and it tells you about Antiochus. It says when Alexander the Great died and Antiochus went after Jerusalem, it says evils began to multiply upon the earth. You see, so Esau and Antiochus was an Edomite, and Antiochus, he was an Edomite. So Esau, all right, whenever he's in a seat of authority, the only thing he can bring is evil and deceive people, right? So the Lord set a seal upon him. That seal was to turn him into a goddamn caveman, all right? It says till 1,000 years be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Yeah, because it's prophecy for Esau to, rule the world at the end. So we're in Esau's little season. We're in the so-called white man's little season. So for a lot of you niggas that want to wonder why the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans went into slavery by the so-called white man, well, it was prophecy. All right. Esau had to get his dominion back. OK, because, it's already foretold that Yahushua is going to come back and destroy his empire. OK, and Esau was going to set up the mark of the beast. OK, and everything else. But ultimately, this is who Esau is. OK, this is who they are. So, you got a lot of these Edomites right now, they're trying to poke out their chest like they come from something great. Right. The great America, the great American Edomite. Right. They got so much faith in Donald Trump. Well, okay, Donald Trump is hiding this information from you Edomites out there. Donald Trump, all right, and the powers that be are hiding this information from you that your people are actually cave people. So while Esau wants to sit there and look down upon us like we're ruining the neighborhood, but hold on, nigga, this is where you come from. This is really who you are. And in the kingdom of heaven, you're going back to this mindset, man. All right, you're going back to this degenerate, nasty, retarded state, man. OK, we putting you back in slavery, man. All right. Now, let's see. Let's get this real quick. Genesis 25 and 27. It says, and the boys grew. We'll come back to that. Let me get some information real quick. All right. We'll come back to that. So it's something you could look up on Google. Okay, it's called the Wood Woes. All right, and this is what Esau was being called in the Dark Ages. Okay, because Esau was like a myth to all the other nations. He was like the Bigfoot, him and his people. Right. So if you look up Wood Woes, this is what comes up. OK. See, there was paintings of Esau back in the day because he was a goddamn, you know what I mean? This nigga was an animal, man. You know, look at him. This is Esau. OK. Who is that? All right. Who the hell is that? That's an Edomite, man. All right. Running around on all fours, hairy. OK. This is who Esau is. It says, look, wild man. You see? Wood Woes. All right. That's who Esau is. Okay. That's who he was. That's what he was being recognized as in the Dark Ages when he was in that caveman state. Okay. Now let's look it up on Wikipedia. Wood Woes. It says wild man. The wild man. All right. Or wild man of the woods. And, you know, keep that in mind. Wild man of the woods. Because I'm going to get a precept on that. It says is a mythical figure and a motif resembling a hairy human that appears in the art and literature of medieval Europe. Our people were ruling during medieval times, man. Okay. And Esau, he was in the caves running around the forest. All right. So our people, so everybody on the planet used to call Esau a wood woe. You know, he was the wood woes, right? Because you would probably only see like you know how like when you go to the woods and you might see like a fucking like a goddamn, let's just say a mountain lion, and then you know you wouldn't see the mountain lion for too long. You'll see it for a second, and then the mountain lion will just run off somewhere, right? Or you'll see some animal jumping from tree to tree like a Tarzan. That was Esau. Esau is the Tarzan, man. Okay, and that's what our people recognized him as. All right, the Tarzan. All right, it says generally they are considered a large statured race of humans who are hairy all over their body and live in the wilderness or woodlands. They are often thought to be covered with moss or wear green or vegetative clothing, and iconically wielded a club or hold an uprooted tree as a staff. He was a total, Esau was a total degenerate, man. So don't let these devils sit there and try to tell you as Israelites that he's better than us. You know, Esau is trying to come with his science, like, you know, the Negro, Latino, and Native American. We're less than a human being compared to him. You was a fucking caveman, man. All right. You goddamn Caucasian devils, man. You were a caveman. All right. You ain't nothing significant. Okay. That's why the scriptures call you a base man. All right. You're on a very low level. All right. Small among the heathen. I think it says that in the book of Obadiah. Yeah, because you're the only race that was your entire race were cave people. And this is information that Esau don't want you to know. OK, this is one of the biggest lies. All right, that Esau has perpetuated to the world. Right. That he's actually the smart one. Right. Everybody, all nations come from him. He has, you know, he's the only one on the planet that has the bright ideas. No. OK, because clearly. All right. Does this look like an Asian man? Does this look like an Arab? Does this look like a so-called black person? Does this look like a Mexican? No, it looks like the so-called white man. OK, you hairy goddamn dog. You Bigfoot motherfucker, man. All right. All right. So you can't fool us no more, Esau. All right. And the Whitaker family. All right. Where they at, man? Let's look them up. The Whitaker family. OK, is a reminder of what Esau was. Now, imagine a nigga like this. Imagine this stupid motherfucker right here. Imagine him hairy all over his body, hair all over his body, butt naked, running around the woods. You can see that in him, can't you? I can see that in a nigga like this. And a nigga like this, Nigga like this. I can see these two niggas running around the woods, right? Grabbing raccoons, biting them raw, right? Caveman shit. I can see that in them. Now imagine Esau's entire race like that, man. All right? Imagine that. That's what was going on. Okay? That's who Esau was. All right? He was a wood woes. All right? Now let's get this scripture right here. Genesis 25 and 27. It says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. But you see that? A man of the field. What did it say in the Wikipedia? It said a wild man, a man of the woods. So this was Esau's spirit even going back then, the original Esau. He was a man of the field, right? When Esau came to bring venison to Isaac, right? Isaac recognized who Esau was because Esau used to wear animal pelt, right? He used to wear that animal pelt, and then he used to always smell like the goddamn forest. So Isaac always knew, okay, Esau's here because I could smell him. He smells like a god. That nigga smell like the wilderness, man, because he was a man of the field. You see? All right. That's who you are, Esau. Okay. Let's get this real quick. This is Deuteronomy 2 and 5. It says, meddle not with them, for I will not give you of their land, no, not so much as a foot breadth, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession. What is Mount Seir? Let's look up what Mount Seir is, okay? Mount Seir. It says Mount Seir is a rugged mountainous region located east of the Araba Valley in a modern day South Jordan. Okay? So even in the ancient world, Esau, he was in the mountains. He's always been a caveman. He's always been a man of the field, man. Okay? This is the biggest secret that Esau does not want people to know. This is Mount Seir right here. You see? Caveman. All right. This is why Esau, you look at his society. Look at the society Esau has built. Everything is built upon the rock. The apartment buildings, rock. The cement, rock. Everything is rock. Esau has turned the world into his own caveman utopia because this is where he feels comfortable. Esau don't feel comfortable just natural nature. This is why he cut down all the trees, took down all the greenery, right? He destroyed nature in general, because that's not what he feels comfortable in. He feels comfortable in, all right, a world with a bunch of rock, because this is who he is. He's a caveman. Okay. And you can see, look, little pockets. If you look, little holes right there. Right. Esau will go in and out of that motherfucker. He was a cave. He was in the caves, man. OK, this is who Esau is. All right. And in the kingdom, he's going back to Mount Seir because, hey, that's his possession, ain't it? That's his land, the rock. So he's going back to that. All right. We're going to stick him back in them caves, man. All right. Because that's where he belongs. Right. Look how Esau runs this world. He runs this world like a caveman. All right. Bunch of foolishness. All of these weirdo policies, man, that don't make no goddamn sense. It feels like the world of a caveman, does it not? All right. Get a couple more scriptures and close it out. This is Genesis 4 and 12. It says, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not get henceforth yield unto thee her strength. Right. So this is why when Esau stepped into the power seat, the planet Earth started dying. Right. This is why you don't see trees to their full length anymore. This is why the world is not a greenery, nature-filled utopia, because that's what it's supposed to be. That's what the world is supposed to be intended. Let me get something, man. All right, because I always like to get pictures like this, right? Garden of Eden, nature. Okay, get a picture for you. This is what the world is supposed to look like, and in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to look like this. Okay, you see the water, the fresh water, the greenery everywhere, right? This is what the world is going to go back to. And it's going to look way better than this, man. All right. That don't really look too great, but OK, this is a good example right here. This is what the world is going to go back to. All right. And at one point, the world was like this. But Esau, when he got in the power seat, OK, he started to tear all of this down because he wanted to create a world that makes sense in his mind, which is the world of the rock, the world of the caves, man. All right. So that's why it says when he tilleth the ground, it's not going to yield. It's not going to yield unto her strength, meaning that the world is going to slowly, the earth is going to slowly wither away under his rulership. You see, it says a fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. OK, a fugitive. All right, let's look up the word fugitive. All right, a person who has escaped from a place or is in hiding, especially to avoid arrest or persecution. All right, that's Esau, right? Vagabond, and which is a wanderer. OK, cave people are wanderers. All right, you can see the Whitaker family. If the Whitaker family had no place to go, like if they didn't have a house, right, and the Whitaker family was just in the woods running around, they'd be vagabonds. OK, it says a person who wanders from place to place without a home or a job. Right. So that's Esau. OK, that's Esau. All right. Let me get this last scripture right here. This is Job 30 and verse 3. We'll start at verse 3. It says, for want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. All right. In Job, if you didn't know, Job is talking directly about the Edomites, because when you go into is that Job, the first chapter, it tells you the land, the region that Job lived in, which is the land of Uz. And the land of Uz is the land of the Edomites. So Job, he lived real close by the Edomites. So when he was talking about these individuals that are running around in the wilderness, desolate and waste, all right, he's talking about these Edomites, because this is who he was directly looking at. He was looking at Edomites, all right, behave themselves like animals. OK, verse 4, it says, and then in Job, it says you can't even leave. It talks about in the book of Job when Job is talking about Esau, Job says that you can't even leave these devils around the animals. You can't even leave them around household pets and animals, because Esau end up eating them, or he'll have sex with them. He's a maniac. And we see them same traits in Esau today. OK, Esau is just somewhat of an upgraded version of the Whitaker family. All right. He's running around with a tuxedo and he's trying to keep it together. But then you get to know who Esau is. He always got some creepy shit he's doing in the background. He's a fucking pedo. He fucks around with incest. He fucks around with bestiality, all manner of wicked, demonic, degenerate shit Esau is doing behind the scenes, but that's because he's a caveman. All right. And you can see the Whitaker family. If the Whitaker family, all right, wasn't told to stay inside of their house, who knows what them type of people would do, man? Them Edomites, the Whitaker family. Who knows what they be doing out here in the real world? It looked like they live somewhere in the goddamn woods or something, away from civilization, and that's good. Get them weird ass niggas, all right, away from everybody. Because if you had the Whitaker family mingling in regular civilization, you imagine you seeing a nigga like that, a nigga like this. What would you do if you seen niggas like this at the grocery store, man? You'd be like, yo, what the fuck is that? The nigga grunting and you're like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You call the police on him, man. Okay. So Esau, the Edomite that we see today, is just an upgraded version of this. Okay. Because really, he's just a man of the field. He's a wilderness man. All right. Him and his people. Verse 4, it says, who cut up mallows by bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Hey, Deuteronomy 2 and 5, which is what I just read. The Lord said he's given Mount Seir unto Esau. Esau is the rocks. So this is how you know Job is directly talking about the Edomites right here, man. All right. Because what other nation dwells in the goddamn rocks, dwells in the cliffs of the valleys and the caves of the earth? Esau. Okay. The wood woes. All right. The cave people. You see, it says among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. You see, they were children of fools. Yeah. Children of base men. They were viler than the earth. You see, so you Edomites, okay, you are viler than the earth. So, you know, a lot of you Caucasians are running around trying to act like you're just this high and mighty new step of evolution, and you ain't nothing but a goddamn low-level degenerate monster caveman, okay? You know, that really has no business around other people, man. But it was all Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's will to put you on the seat of authority to fulfill prophecy, man. Okay? So I just wanted to make this video real quick, and Lord willing, it was edifying. All right. And hopefully you brothers and sisters out there, you can do your own research on, you know, this information of Esau being a caveman. And you know, and the deeper you get into it, the more you're going to be like, wow, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense how these Edomites act today, because this is who they are. They're cave people. All right. So with that, shut out this lesson. Give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Once again, Shalom.